like this. Guys who are enemies during the season. Chris Pronger comes to mind, a Philadelphia Flyer who you battle tooth and nail. When you get to be with these guys for 2 weeks, do you find things out about them? Do you just come away thinking, I didn't know that guy at all?
I mean, I could give you a list. I mean, it's tough. You play against guys and you compete so hard, and you respect them, but they do become your enemy. And you know, a Chris Pronger, you know, guys like that. I had known Mike Richards. You know, he plays for Philly, but I had known him, and I know he's a good guy. And you know, I really respected the way he plays and things like that. But he's still a guy that, you know what, when we played, it was a big competition and it was heated. But a guy like Pronger, I didn't know well, and you know, it's amazing when you really think about it. Not just our team, but any team. You know, those guys come together and you all share the same goal, and you want to represent your country well, and you guys put all those things aside and come together pretty quick, and we were able to do that. But Iginla's a guy that I didn't really know a whole lot. I grew up watching him. I mean, he's been in the league a lot longer than people realize, I think, and he's a great leader, a great person, and I just enjoyed getting to meet him and getting to know him because I hadn't played with him previously, and you know, had the opportunity to play with him on a line. And I remember watching in '02 when, you know, he was a big part of that final game too. So you know, all the guys were great, but I would say him in particular.
A reverse of that dynamic is having teammates from your NHL club, and then you're going at it with them in this tournament. Brooks Orpik is the obvious one. You had said before the first U.S. game that if Brooks gave you a shot, you'd understand because he's that kind of player. He has to play physical, but you gave the first shot. So tell us how that all worked out.
He gave me the first one.
Oh, okay.
He gave me the first one. We've talked about it, but like, it's one of those things. We understand it. I don't know if you can really explain it to people who haven't experienced it, but it's just a common understanding that, you know what, this guy's going to do what it takes for his team to win, and I understand that, and you can't hold it against him personally. He's trying to win, and it doesn't help when you're talking about a big physical defenseman whose job is to shut down other teams', you know, offensive lines, and you're talking about an offensive player who probably doesn't want to get hit every time he's out there by their biggest defenseman either. So, you know, those two worlds collide pretty quickly, but there's a respect there, and we've, you know, shared a pretty amazing experience in winning the Stanley Cup together. So there's a respect there, but also an understanding when you go to things like that.
These last 7, 8, 9 months have been unbelievable for you. Go back to the 7-game series with the Capitals, trading hat tricks with Alex Ovechkin, winning the Stanley Cup, going to your hometown and being feted as a local hero, and then scoring arguably the biggest goal in Canadian history. Can you even put into perspective what has happened to you, what you have done in the last 9 months?
Yeah, it's tough. You know what? I haven't had probably a lot of time to reflect, and that's probably been the best thing. I mean, it's been probably so busy that a lot of it hasn't really set in. And at the same time, as much as you want to absorb it and you want to soak it up, it's been a little bit harder to do that just because of the situation. But you know, I'm not going to complain about it. It's you know, there's guys who play years, you know, a lot of years, and work just as hard and do all the right things, and they don't get, you know, that opportunity. So especially at my age, you know, whether at my age or any other age, it's tough to do that, but especially at my age. And you know, I appreciate the opportunities I've had.
Let me embarrass you with a couple of quotes that some of your Team Canada teammates said about you. Chris Pronger said, "Guys like that find a way." Jonathan Toews said, "There's nothing that kid can't do or hasn't done." Ryan Getzlaf said, "That's Sid for you. There's a reason why he's the best player in the world." Jerome Iginla, a guy you grew up idolizing, he said, "It's so fitting he scored the goal. It's funny, there's so much pressure on him. I mean, we were in a semifinal game. We're into the finals of the Olympics, and people are asking, what's wrong with Sid? Why doesn't he have any points?" When guys say things like that about you, what does it mean to you that they hold you in such high esteem?
I guess it's just appreciation. You know, I appreciate that, and you know, it's nice that they understand that. I don't, you know, I don't try to do anything different, or, you know, I think that, in that tournament especially, they realize the amount of pressure that's on our team, and for them to recognize what the pressure that's on me as well. I do appreciate that, but it's something that I've learned to live with, and but at the same time, I do appreciate that they're teammates, and I think you always try to understand one another depending on everyone's situation, and at the same time, they're right, and I hope that they see that I was happy that we were in the semifinals, and as much as success we had, there were still questions about how I was doing those couple games, and I think we all understand that as hockey players, it's Canada, and there's always going to be those kind of questions, but I appreciate them, just having looking out for me and really caring like that. So I guess that's the best way to describe it, is probably appreciation. Part of me may feel like I'm more experienced because I've gone through those things and had those opportunities, been in those situations, but I think I always look to improve and get better, and I'm always, maybe those same guys you may talk about, I'm trying to learn as much as I can from them.